My name is Alexis Graber, and my presentation is on regenerative agriculture. So some of the topics I'll be talking about is what it is, some arguments against it, the outcomes in doing this, some of the negative aspects, health-related issues it may help to improve, the benefits of having clean and improved soil. So what is regenerative agriculture? So overall, this process is really to just improve the agricultural ecosystem. It's to improve the soil and how crops come out. So it restores soil's carbon content in order to enhance the soil's health. So the basic idea of this whole issue and topic is to improve the health of the soil so that then our crops can be improved. So you have to have 4 of these following 6 things in order to be considered, for it to be considered a regenerative agriculture. So some of these things cover the crops, green manures, organic production, compost application, reduced tillage, and crop rotation. So some history on regenerative agriculture. So in the 1940s, that is when the industrial and chemical dependent farming had become more popular and more heavily used for farming crops. Before that, farming was done organically and supported by the environment and the ecosystem. So in the 1940s is really when the whole use of chemicals came out for farming, and now with regenerative agriculture, we want to try to get back to farming more organically and using the environment, such as the soil. So some health and nutrition about regenerative agriculture. So some of the positives of it. It's the deeper roots, the water retention, pest-resistant plants, and rising carbon levels, which is a main one for this whole topic. So majority of health issues can be traced back to the way our food is farmed. So some of the health issues that it could help, and if it's not used, the outcomes of it would be malnutrition, foodborne illness, air pollution, and chemicals being released into the air affecting the whole food chain, dwindling freshwater supply, and also obesity and chronic disease. So in not using regenerative agriculture, there's these type of illnesses and diseases that could be caused due to the soil or chemicals being used and pesticides and different things like that. So just some arguments, viewpoints. So what could be wrong with this? Of course, with anything, there's always some negatives to it. So one thing that comes about in this topic is that it won't be done exactly how it should be. So they don't want it to be a laundry list of rules that people might start to bend or not follow all the way through, making the agriculture not exactly how it should be. So if it becomes rules, all about the rules, and following them, people and farmers or the workers may tend to bend the rules or not do everything in the rules, and then really what comes out of this type of agriculture won't really be effective and won't be its main purpose, which is to really benefit our health and the way our crops are grown and the overall soil. And if this system isn't being done how it should be, then these really aren't effective. So the other view on this, more positive view, is how do we know that farmers are doing the system properly? So how do we know it is not just a marketing ploy for people to buy these products? If this type of agriculture is not being done properly or people are bending the rules, then it would most likely not be effective, as I said. So that's the first point. And the second view would be that it does improve soil when it is being done properly, and it can help to improve certain health issues such as foodborne illness, along with obesity and malnutrition and the other things I had mentioned before. So those are two views on the topic. So there was a survey done that serves as a positive outlook for the issue. So 60% of consumers would at least consider changing habits in food shopping if this regenerative agriculture was proven to actually do what it says it does and be done right. So basically, they did a survey. Consumers would be willing to buy these products and support regenerative agriculture, even just in their everyday food shopping. They would support it because it is beneficial, but they want it to be done right. So they're not going to support something if it's not done the way it should be. Another survey was done on farmers actually, and showed that many of them had already incorporated aspects of regenerative farming into their farming, and these aspects had included crop rotation, no-till farming, and manure application. So although they might not be able to be considered yet a regenerative agriculture, they are still incorporating it and working towards overall having that system one day in place. So some of the factors. One is cost. Of course, support can cost money. Getting farmers to do this type of agriculture. Another is location. So a lot of it depends with any type of agriculture. It depends on where it is and what type of soil is there and what you have as far as resources go in order to complete this system and really make it be effective. You also need support from government, organizations, many things just to actually have this grow and be an effective way of agriculture. There also needs to be guidelines. So even though the set of rules may not always be the best, because as I said, people would bend them and not complete all of them, it's also kind of needed because you need something to follow. And also you need to have something to tell people how it was done. So nutritional information on it, if on the packaging, or saying that it was regenerative agriculture that was used. And then also another thing is labor laws. So different laws you would have to obviously pay attention to, and that would go into the whole system. Some other factors. So integration. So integration of trees, shrubs, and other perennials. So all of those, you kind of need a little bit of everything in this. So just utilizing all of it. Another factor is the density. So the plants growing together, stacked, kind of the way they're placed. You need to know. Another part of this is multi-story. So the integration of many species kind of goes along with integration of the trees, the shrubs. You also need to have the different species and be using all the resources around you. So multiple species is another factor. So increased species increases the biodiversity of the system. So again, it's kind of using everything around you in the environment rather than using chemicals and things that could be harmful. You use something that's already there in different species to help to improve it. So with regenerative agriculture, it does require fewer costs because fertilizers and insecticides by promoting soil biology and organic matter. So you don't need as many of these chemicals, making it more cost effective in the long run. So soil organic matter was most important in farm profitability because the regenerative farms market their farm differently. So marketing has a big thing to do with it. When you put it out there to the people, there's a way of marketing it. And having soil organic matter is the most important for the profitability. So here's a picture I'd found, which I feel like gives a good visual kind of what is really going on and really what it kind of looks like. So it's, as it says at the top, it's a shift. So on the left side, you kind of see it's just kind of dull brown, not too colorful and healthy looking. And then on the other side, you see lots, green, there's trees, there's different kinds of plants. There's it's very put together, organized, and lines and things the way it's set up. So, so regenerative agriculture, these are some of the things it does. So on the flip side, not regenerative, regular competes with nature, whereas regenerative partners with nature. So as I said before, they use everything. They use their resources, insects, the soil. They're really just trying to develop the soil. So another one is, without it, it might disturb the soil, whereas regenerative protects the soil. And then monoculture versus diversity. So bringing everything into it, as I said before, the resources, just really using the environment over chemicals and things like that. And then reductionist versus holistic. So some ethical considerations and actions. So there is a way for the government to have involvement in this issue and regulate it. One way they are regulating it is through an organic label. You need to have labels on foods so that people can know where their stuff's coming from, or maybe how it was processed, or things like that. So one way to do that is the organic label, which is already something that is started and they're using, but they had come up with something called the Regenerative Organic Certification, or the ROC. This really focuses on soil health and carbon sequestration. So this label is more directed towards regenerative agriculture, and is really just to keep the label strong and strengthen the organic label. It's not really changing it much. It's more just a new way and kind of more strengthening the label overall. So General Mills actually supports this type of agriculture. On their website, they have a lot of details on it and what, the benefits of it. They're big supporters of it. So for them, their main thing is they want to improve the soil, and they realize the importance of the agriculture. So in being in the food industry, they realize the importance of having that the improvement in the soil, and really just the whole impact of this type of agriculture and how important it can be. They are supporting the efforts to improve the agriculture. They are really seeking to have outcomes such as healthy soil, above and below ground biodiversity, and farmer economic resilience. So this company really has put a positive impact on this type of agriculture, and really feels that it is important. So just a summary of some of the things that I talked about. So overall, the main idea is to understand what this system really does, what regenerative agriculture is. So overall, it aims to improve the agricultural ecosystem. It improves the soil. It is to improve the soil and use all of the resources around it, use the environment rather than chemicals and things, but the thing that makes it unique to itself is improving the soil through the environment. So some of the factors to remember that go into this issue would be the cost, the location, and the guidelines. Another one for factors is support. So we need people to support this topic as long as it is going to be done right and for the good. Then we need support for it so that it can be used. This also improves some of the health-related issues, so some of the issues of malnutrition, foodborne illness, and also air pollution that can affect our food. So this is a very natural way. It's through the environment, so you wouldn't use the air pollution that may be being used now for foods that maybe aren't organic or aren't using agriculture similar to this one, if not this one. And then the two views on this topic to keep in mind. So the positive view that it can improve health and it is better for the environment, which is a great benefit. There's a lot of things that come out of, a lot of health issues that come out of things that we eat. And this is something to definitely consider if we want to improve those health issues. So then the view against it is that it could be a marketing ploy. It could be a way for, the marketing companies to kind of put out there that, oh, it's good, it's great, but behind the scenes maybe not be doing what they should be. Also along with the view against it is they might not be doing it properly. So marketing ploy or not, it might also not be being done properly. And overall, if it's not being done properly, it's not going to be as effective. And the whole goal of it is to be effective and to improve health and soil and really work with the environment rather than use chemicals and things that could harm us. So here are some of my references, and that is all. Thank you very much.